Bitcoin, Law and Satoshi's Vision, COPA v. Wright Appeal, Petition, plus BTC Passing Off case update, and how to be an intervener in the case. Truth Machine. Truth Machine. 20 minutes read. Just now. A fair balance, or an invisible hand on the scale. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Proverbs 11:1. Since my previous post in August on why Judge Meller got the COPA v. Wright judgment wrong, there have been some interesting updates related to the case. Dr. Wright submitted his permission to appeal later in August, and the court has been processing this, as can be seen on case tracker sites here and here. Another permission to appeal was soon after filed in the Wright v. Peter McCormack case. Dr. Wright had won a defamation case against McCormack, but the judge only awarded £1 in damages, which did not seem to serve proper justice for the defamation and harm caused by McCormack. We don't yet know all of the details and content related to Dr. Wright's appeals in Wright v. McCormack, or in COPA v. Wright, because the documents are not all public. We have only seen small snippets leaked by COPA representatives on Reddit and elsewhere, as well as what Dr. Wright has revealed on his Twitter/X account. Since I have started writing this article, the UK court has apparently now denied Dr. Wright's permission to appeal in COPA v. Wright. Although the circumstances around the judge and this decision are quite problematic. The appeal will now likely be sent to the UK Supreme Court, where these issues will be considered. The problems with Judge Meller and the appellate Judge Arnold will be discussed later in this article after we go over some of the other relevant happenings from the last several months. Since my previous article, Dr. Wright has also become more active on X on his new Twitter/X account @TommyNaga. The content on his X account consists of numerous articles he has authored, and has varied from elegant writing, education about Bitcoin and Satoshi's vision, the lies of BTC, poetry, Christianity, law, literary reviews and analysis, international relations, fiction writing, philosophy, politics, history, and numerous other topics, including the many problems with crypto culture and BTC, the fake version of Bitcoin. Dr. Wright has also talked about some revolutionary ideas to reform our tax system using Bitcoin technology, and says this system is already in development. Such a system, he says, would shatter the bureaucratic mysticism around taxation. Dr. Wright has also criticized people like Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy and his idea for a BTC bank. Although the BTC network is broken at a limited 7 transactions per second and cannot scale, Dr. Wright has also talked about SPV and Terranode and its ability to scale to millions of transactions per second on the Bitcoin SV network. This is something impossible on the limited 1 megabyte block BTC core network. To learn more about the difference between BSV, the real Bitcoin, and BTC, the imposter version of Bitcoin, I suggest reading my previous article and Message to President Trump and J.D. Vance ahead of Bitcoin conference July 27, The Threat of Crypto, and the Promise of Satoshi's Vision for Bitcoin. It is worth noting that Dr. Wright has already been found to be Satoshi Nakamoto in the U.S. court system when he prevailed in a jury trial in Miami, Florida, Kleiman v. Wright, and Dr. Wright was ruled the sole creator of Bitcoin. One of the most interesting revelations since the COPA v. Wright judgment was handed down, was a video released by COPA representatives on a Reddit account showing Dr. Wright logging into Satoshi Nakamoto's Vistamail and anonymous speech account, which was ignored in Judge Meller's written judgment. See the video below with passport blurred out. Dr. Wright signing into Satoshi's email and hosting account used to register Bitcoin.org domain. There are also 3 more videos with Dr. Wright logging into the account that show the PGP section of the site and also the URL bar, but COPA has not released these 3 other videos yet. Along with this very convincing evidence, Dr. Wright has also signed cryptographic messages with Block 1 and Block 9, the very first blocks in the Bitcoin blockchain, for Gavin Andresen, the man Satoshi left as a steward of the Bitcoin project when he receded in 2011. Despite lies pushed by BTC promoters, Gavin has testified under oath that he does not think Dr. Wright tricked him during the signing sessions, and that Dr. Wright most likely still has Satoshi's keys. Of course, the COPA side is quick to deny reality and fabricate lies, and they claim that Dr. Wright somehow faked all of these things. First, they claim that since Dr. Wright noted the account name was Sakura, it could not have been Satoshi's account. But navigating the Wayback Machine and Internet Archive, it is revealed that the username and email must be different on the anonymous speech website, corroborating Dr. Wright's story. COPA representatives are also desperately trying to point to a deleted post by a user named Mike V on Twitter, which claims to have been able to log into the anonymous speech website to recreate a similar page as Dr. Wright published on his blog post in 2019. It is possible that this Mike V is also Mike Weber, the owner of the anonymous speech website. It should be noted that Mike V's screenshot is different than the one in Dr. Wright's video showing the domain being registered and not just hosting. It is impossible to test Mike V's claims because the website was taken down and no longer exists, and the circumstances around the closing of the site are also suspicious. The COPA group next tried to point to an anomaly on the bottom copyright date of Dr. Wright's video, saying it proves it is a fake website created by Dr. Wright. But again, Dr. Wright's story is corroborated by the web archive, which also shows the website with anomalous copyright dates on many pages, and it would be something likely to manifest on Dr. Wright's page since he was using a very old account without new features. Before we get back to the suspicious events surrounding the closure of the anonymous speech website, it should be noted that Dr. Wright revealed on X that in preparation for the COPA trial, he also gave his solicitors the credentials to log into the anonymous speech Sakura account used by Satoshi Nakamoto. Dr. Wright was asked about the videos of him logging into the account while under oath during trial, but it is puzzling why Judge Meller did not mention the videos at all in his judgment, or appendix. This is after Meller had claimed to examine all of the evidence, when he ruled hastily from the bench on March 14, 2024. Dr. Wright claims that he was not allowed to waive privilege during the trial to have evidence of his solicitors logging into the anonymous speech account considered, partly due to his diagnosis of autism. These procedural wrongdoings will be important issues for the court to consider in Dr. Wright's appeal in the case. The interesting thing in all of this is that the anonymous speech website seemed to be functioning normally until right after Dr. Wright's solicitors logged into Satoshi's account using the credentials they were given by Dr. Wright. But as the solicitors noted, soon after they logged in on their home devices, it seemed to trigger something, and the next day the site was completely shut down and login was no longer possible. It would seem that the anonymous speech site owners reacted to the solicitors logging into Satoshi's account on their home IP addresses and devices. Even more strange is that soon after shutting down there was a mysterious message left on the anonymous speech website closing down message that seemed to be a rant against Dr. Craig Wright, saying Craig Steve Wright is not Satoshi. He is just a lonely person looking for real friends. It appears that someone left the message and acted in anger and haste due to the actions of Dr. Wright, but now we know the events were related to his solicitors logging into the Satoshi account. It seems likely that the site was shut down in an attempt to thwart Dr. Wright and his claim of being Satoshi. Further information has also come to light, which brings into question the partiality of Judge Meller in the COPA trial, and his relationship to some COPA representatives. For example, it has been revealed that David Pearce, a UK patent attorney who identifies as a cartoon cat Tufty the cat, has met with Judge James Meller during the time Meller was supposed to be writing his COPA judgment. Pearce claims that he was there to suss Meller out, and he revealed that they talked about Bitcoin, Dr. Craig Wright, and the COPA case. UK patent lawyer David Pearce also identifies as Tufty the cat. This is very concerning and is an important issue to be raised during Dr. Wright's appeal. Pearce, who claims to have met Meller several times, spoke to Judge Meller at a CIPA event, and there are also videos and photos of them meeting together at the event. Pearce has been revealed to have close connections to COPA and is a prominent member of the /r/BSV Reddit community, which is used as a forum to harass and slander Dr. Wright and the BSV community of users and entrepreneurs. Surprisingly, Pearce does not seem to know the rules on ex parte communication with judges in a case. Raising further suspicions is Pierce's connections to a law firm Barker Brettell, which has close ties to MasterCard, working on patents related to blockchain technology. Now Judge Meller has also admitted in a recent hearing that he did meet with Pierce at a CIPA, COPA event, but Meller denied having any bias. Pierce has denied being a COPA member, but admits to being biased in the case. Pierce seems to schedule his work and his whole life around the COPA case and Dr. Wright. In the Web Archive, Pierce is listed as an advisor to the Open Crypto Alliance, which seems to have goals very similar to COPA, the Crypto Open Patent Alliance. According to these videos, Pierce's role was to help debunk patents primarily from on-chain, something which he has admitted to have done in partnership with Arthur Van Pelt, another close associate of COPA, and Arthur has also admitted to being a paid influencer that puts out propaganda against Dr. Wright and the BSV community. Pierce talks more about their relationship in this video, and how he uses Arthur to initiate legal challenges. Here you can see Bitalicious Exchange funding Pierce and Arthur to take legal actions against on-chain patents. Bitalicious is also one of the main defendants in the BSV claims delisting class action lawsuit. Apparently David Pierce seeks donations directly from COPA as well. David Pierce seeks donations from COPA to fight Dr. Wright's patents. It appears that well-funded interests are trying to thwart Satoshi and his vision for Bitcoin, and they have done their best to influence the outcome of the COPA v. Wright case. These issues will likely be very important for Dr. Wright's appeal to the UK Supreme Court. As mentioned above, the UK Appellate Court has now denied Dr. Wright's permission to appeal in COPA v. Wright, with a judgment recently handed down in the Appellate Court by Judge Arnold. There is a video from Gavin Gregory covering the details of that here. Dr. Wright has made his intentions known that he will send his appeal in the case to the UK Supreme Court. Dr. Wright indicating on X that he intends to send his appeal to the UK Supreme Court. Interestingly, the UK Supreme Court was not established until 2009 with the intention to solidify a separation of powers from the judicial and legislative branch. An important issue related to Dr. Wright's upcoming appeal in the Supreme Court will be issues with bias from both Judge Meller, the trial judge, and Judge Arnold, the judge who denied Dr. Wright's permission to appeal. As seen in the video and evidence above, we know that David Pierce and Judge Meller met at a CIPA event seen here, while the trial was ongoing, and they have met other times prior to the case where they did discuss Bitcoin. We know that David Pierce has had dinner with judges, including Judge Meller, and we know that Pierce and Meller discussed Bitcoin and Craig Wright when they met at CIPA. We also know from the CIPA website, and from interviews with Pierce, that Judge Arnold was also in attendance at the event. Yet despite being present at the CIPA event in question, Judge Arnold did not recuse himself, when the issue was central to the denial of Dr. Wright's appeal. It does not seem reasonable to assume that Judge Arnold could make an unbiased decision in the case when he was also at the same event as Judge Meller and David Pierce, an issue central to the decision. Judge Arnold acknowledging that Judge Meller met David Pierce but calling it irrelevant. Arnold also claims that it doesn't matter because David Pierce was not a witness. Yet Pierce has admitted in videos, on Gavin Gregory's channel, and on social media posts that he met Judge Meller on behalf of Blockstream CEO Adam Back, a COPA member and a witness in the trial. Another Judge Colin Beers's was also present at the CIPA event and is also friends with David Pierce. Pierce says in a video that he thought Judge Beers's might be the judge to deny the appeal, and if Judge Beers's was selected it wouldn't be good news for Craig. It is a wonder how Pierce, someone so close to COPA, is able to have so much inside knowledge and communication with potential judges related to the case. Another eyebrow-raising interview is found with Judge Beers in relation to the CIPA event, where Judge Beers says he likes it because you get to hear stuff outside of the context of a court case, and he thinks it is helpful. The interviewer also notes CIPA attorneys and members said they never realized how accessible judges were and that you can actually have such candid conversations. All of this raises concerns whether these types of events where judges and attorneys of the industry meet together are ethical. Another poster on X has also claimed that Judge Meller made comments about destroying Dr. Wright. All of these things along with the biased tone and language in Mellor's judgment make this particular branch of the UK court system